Starting recording again. Thanks, Nancy, for being persistent and being more tech savvy than me. And sorry for the rest of you. I will send you this recording when we're done. So anyway, we're just going to start by turning inward and just finding your breath. Just letting go and opening to grace. And my theme today is open to grace. And what does that really mean? To me, it means just opening to something greater that's happening within us and all around us. Leaving yourself open and realizing that everything happens for a reason. And if we just think of life in that way, that we're just open to whatever comes along and receive whatever gift that brings. So check in with your physical body for a moment. Sit tall. Please bring hands to heart center. May we all appreciate the many blessings that we've been given, and especially on this day. Please lower your hands, open your eyes. First blessing is Artemis has been sick and she is better now. Laura's texted me now. She's trying to get on. Oh gosh. So we're going to start on our backs and just come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring your soles of your feet together, your knees open wide. And breathe for a few minutes there. Just check in with your hips. Check in with your spine. And then please lift the knees slowly. Bring your feet wide on the mat. And just work through some windshield wipers, just kind of moving the knees side to side. See how that feels. I'm going to text Laura. Good. And then pause and just hug your right knee in and extend your left leg to the floor if that's possible. You don't have to do that. You can keep the foot flat and flex and point your right foot a few times. And then move that knee off to the right. Flex the foot and hold the foot flexed. Keep the left leg active. And then just extend the leg straight out to the side. I'm kind of supporting it with my right hand. And point and flex a few times there. We had an 18-hour car ride on Sunday, so I'm a little stiff. Now bend the knee, bring the foot across. You might have to lift your head, grab the heel, keep the foot flexed, and press the knee away. So it feels a little bit like pigeon pose, but on your back. Just kind of work that hip in the socket. Good, and then release that foot to the floor. Hug your left one in. Extend the right one if that's possible. You might have to move it away. You want your hips to be square and your right leg to be grounded. Flex and point. Move the knee off to the left. Flex the foot. Keep that right leg grounded. Extend the leg out to the side. Point and flex there a few times. I just want you to notice the arches in your foot as you do this. Keep them active, even when you're pointing. Good. And then bending the knee, bring the foot across, grab a hold of the heel and the knee, lay the head and chest back down if possible, and just come into a pigeon prep kind of a pose, just kind of opening that hip. You can move it in a circle if you want. You have more control in this position. Oh, that feels so good. Good, and then release that foot to the floor. Bring the shins parallel, flex the feet, hands in the middle of the thigh. Think rib cage down, little curve in the back, press away and up for a little abdominal bracing, lengthening through the top of the head. And then just hug both knees in again, laying down child's pose, just roll side to side. I want you to notice your low back pressing down. So think long spine, but really attempt to get the low back touching the floor and then roll up into a little ball. Your tail might lift. Good, and then release, roll to the right side and come on up to all fours. And in all fours position, just go for a few cow cats. Make sure your knees are hip distance. Let's move through the two poses. Being conscious of your breath, but you don't have to move with the breath unless that really feels good. And then pause, grab your blocks underneath your hands. And now we're gonna do cow pose. But lift the right knee up behind you. Right, so the foot's flexed, your Lifting that, your hips stay square, you're squeezing your glutes, your hamstrings. Good, now round to cat, bring knee to nose. Point the foot, keep the hips square, and move cow, flex, and then cat. Point, knee to nose. One more time with the right leg. Flex the foot. Feel nice long spine. And then point, bring knee to nose. Feel that long back of neck, really rounding upper and lower back. Good. Bring the right knee down. Move into cow with the left leg lifted. Flex the foot. And round to cat. Knee to nose. Two more times. Lift the left knee back. Flex the foot. Find that cow. And then point, knee to nose. Last time. To nose. And then bring the knee down, move the blocks to the side, take a child's pose. Artemis. And just feel a nice long stretch. I mean, in child's pose, you can bring the big toes together, the knees wider. That's how I like it, but you have to decide how it's best for your body. Sorry, she's blocking the way. And then just a little bit more, stretch the left hand forward, use your fingers to grip, lengthen that side, sway your hips to the left, and then relax it. And then do that with the right side. So walk the right fingertips a little further, sway your hips to the right just a little bit, and then relax it. Now stretch both hands really long. Feel the length in the side. Inhale, move into cow. Might have to move your knees. Exhale, lower to the mat. And lift to a cobra. And lower. Good. Push back up to all fours. Find those blocks again. And step your right foot to the outside of the right block. And just feel that. You can really notice all parts of your foot grounded. Your knees really grounded. Maybe widen the right knee to the right a little bit. And if you're feeling a little bit looser, come down to your elbows for humble pose. And take a few breaths there. And come on back up to the blocks. Slide that foot back and switch left foot to the outside of the block. Find your position. Lengthen and maybe lower. We got to get these hips open today. Couple more breaths. And then coming back up, come back to all fours. Now step your right foot between the blocks. I'm going to actually move mine out of the way. You don't have to. And come more upright. Lift the back knee, stretch the arms back. Stretch the arms forward. Touch down, step back to plank pose. And just pause there in plank, kind of check in, see how your core is feeling. And then lower down. Inhale to cobra. Exhale down. And push up to all fours. You can step the left foot up. Come upright. Lift the back knee, stretch the arms back. So you're leaning forward. You're keeping everything parallel. Stretch the arms by your ears. Feel stable there. And then touch down and step back to plank. Stay for one more breath. And then lower down. Inhale, come to cobra. Exhale down. This time, curl the toes, push back to all fours, but make sure your hands are slightly in front of your shoulders. Move your hips back, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. And just bend one knee and the other. Just make sure your toes point straight ahead, that you're engaging the arches of your feet. You're engaging your spine long, so your rib cage is back. Your arms are hollow, armpits are hollow. And then walk your feet to your hands and come to a forward fold. And just pause there. Again, just notice, are your feet hip distance? Are they pointing straight ahead? Are you really trying to lift the arches, but keeping all parts of your foot connected to the floor? And then go ahead and keep that. I want you to slowly round up to standing. So think tailbone first, low back, just one vertebra at a time. Roll up all the way. Good, now stretch your arms up, hook your thumbs. Your hands are straight, they're like jazz hands. Hook the thumbs, feel that connection to the floor, arc to your right. Come back to center, arc to your left. And then come on back to center. Now keeping your feet grounded, I want you to unhook your thumbs so your arms are just stretched up. And slowly bend a little bit to Utkatasana, just thinking, I'm going to keep you might have to bend your elbows a little bit. I'm going to keep my core engaged. Good. And then sweep the arms back and just lean forward. So you're almost to a flat back position. If you can interlace your hands. Keep that Utkatasana position and sweep your arms back up. Thinking really strong core, really strong through the feet and the arches. And then Lean forward again, sweep the arms back, interlace if you can. And one more time, sweep up at Utkatasana, thinking weight evenly distributed, really engaged in the core, and lean forward, interlace, or just reach back, flat back. Good, release your hands to the floor and re-straighten the legs. Forward fold. Shake out your head. And then please step your right foot back to a deep lunge. Ground the back foot down. And come on up to warrior two position. I'm going to have you keep this hip crease back, but hug that hip in so you can stay level in your core. Notice I need to move my feet a little wider. Keep that right foot grounded. And then on your next inhale, slowly straighten the left leg. Hug the right hip in, bend back in, warrior two. Two more times we're going to do that. So I really want you to notice. Hug that right hip in, straighten the left leg, and slowly bend back into it. Warrior two. Keep that core really engaged. Track the knee straight. One more time. My right hip wants to hug out. I'm really going to draw it in to really get the inner thigh working and bend back into the front knee. Reverse the warrior. Oh, that feels good, right? Come back, warrior two, and then come to Parshva Konasana. Stretch the arm by the ear. If that feels good, you can reach for the floor even. Get the hips really working. Think, I'm going to stretch from the fingertips through the back foot. It feels the best. And then turn the belly and the chest up more. Oh, really get a good stretch. And then touch down. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, lower. Downward facing dog. Now, if it's easier for you to do the step throughs with blocks, please feel free to use the blocks under your hands. Extend the right leg. Just feel that. And then step it through, deep lunge. Ground the back foot down. Windmill up. Warrior two. Hug the left hip in, get the really good stretch, but keep the outer foot grounded. Track the right knee straight. Lots going on. Inhale, straighten the right leg. And just be very mindful as you rebend. Warrior two. Hugging the left hip in. Two more times. Inhale, straighten. I'm just going slow because I really want to see what's going on here. Exhale, bend. Keep the little toe side grounded of that back foot. One more time. Bend. And move to Parshva Konasana. Elbow to knee. Arm by the ear. Think left foot to left fingertips. Just see how it feels. If you want to work deeper, you can reach for the floor. Turn belly and chest to the side more. Full Parsvakonasana. Really good stretch. Hug that left hip in. Keep the length from the fingertips all the way to the foot. Good. And then touch down. Turn the heel up, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, lower. And make your way downward facing dog. Extend the left leg and just stay there for a moment. Just notice it. You're not trying to lift the hip higher. You're just trying to get a good stretch. And step it through, deep lunge. Good, this time lower the back knee. Stretch up Anjane Asana. I'm gonna stretch my right foot straight. Just gonna hold it, lengthen a little bit more. Good, touch down. Slide the hips back to the runner's lunge position. Start with a flexed foot. And just notice everything's lined up. And then you can always stretch the toes. Bend back into the front knee. Step forward, forward fold. Left foot back, deep lunge. Lower the back knee. Stretch up Anjane Asana. Just really noticing the hip flexor at this point. We've been working on hips, but not so much the hip flexor. I still try and keep the right hip crease moving back, the left hip crease even. And then if I just move the pelvis forward evenly, I feel more stretch in that hip flexor. Stretch the left toes. Good. Touch down. Slide the hips back, straighten the right leg for runner's lunge position. Stretch the toes if you feel like it. Good, bend back into the front knee. Lift the back knee and step forward, forward fold. Grab your blocks and step your right foot back to that Parsvottanasana. I can step mine quite a ways because you want to keep your left leg straight. But for most people, it's like 2.5, 3 feet. I'm just gonna use my blocks a lot. So my right toes are turned out. I notice that my left heel, my left hip are lined up, my right heel, my right hip are lined up. That's what I want. And then just take a few breaths here. Parsvottanasana. And then stretch the fingers forward if that feels good, so you can feel that length in your spine. And then bring the hands back on the blocks. I'm going to encourage you to bring the left hand to the hip and slowly open to a little twist to your left. You really feel it on your calves, your right calf especially. Feel the weight in the ball of your left foot and your right foot. If you don't feel like it's a full triangle, it's okay. Good, touch down. Bend the front knee, step forward to switch sides. So left foot back. And just check your alignment, check your spine. I always have to think sits bones back and apart. And then if that feels good, you can fold deeper. Parsvottanasana. And then that second pose, if you want, hands to the blocks, right hand to the hip. Keep everything aligned. And maybe extend to that twisted triangle. Rib cage is back. Oh, it's such a good calf stretch and back stretch and hamstring stretch, hip stretch. Oh my goodness. Couple breaths. And please touch down. Bend the front knee, move the blocks to the side and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to plank. If you need to just stay in down dog, that's fine too. Or child's pose. Come down to the floor, cobra, when you're ready. And lower back down. Now, just for fun, bend your knees. Keep your hands in cobra. Forehead down, think long back of neck. Rib cage back. Lift the head. Flex the feet. Maybe reach your right hand, see if your right ankle's there. Maybe reach the left hand. You don't have to, you can stay in cobra. And then just kick back for a little Dhanurasana. Breathe and release. Bring your hands on your forehead and breathe. My heart rate's going. Couple more breaths. Leave yourself open to grace. Open to whatever is going to come your way today. Open to lots of beauty, lots of blessings. Slide your hands back by your chest. Curl your toes, push back all the way to a downward facing dog. This time, walk your hands back to your feet. Forward fold back there at the back of your mat. And then slowly bend your knees, just like you did before. Actually, move your feet just slightly closer together. Maybe 3 inches apart or so. Bend your knees and come up, chair pose. Bring hands to heart center. Just really feel both sides of your feet engaging and pointing straight ahead and really strong. Twist to your right. I don't even bring my elbow, try to bring my elbow down now. I think just want to keep my sits bones back, my spine long. Good, and then twist to your left. Notice if your right knee comes forward and adjust it. You don't have to twist as deep. Good, come back to center, touch down, Uttanasana. Walk your hands back out to a downward facing dog. Come forward to a plank pose and just hold plank. You can move forward and back a little bit if you want to. Really feel the length in your core, in the back of your neck, all the way from the top of your head through your heels. Good, then lower your knees and come to a seated position. You can use a blanket. Actually, everyone use a blanket. I want to do something that's going to feel kind of good. So find your blanket and make a big rectangle with it. If your blanket's really thick, this may not work for you, so then you just use it maybe thinner. I'm going to roll mine up. And then I'm going to come to my knees and I'm going to snug that blanket in close as I can into the back of my knees. Make sure your feet are pointing straight back. And then hold that blanket there. It might be too big of a roll for you. You can use the blanket flat too if it's too much. And then just sit back and just notice how that gives your knees some space. It gives a little squeeze right there. Just stretching your quads a little bit, but really giving the rest of your legs a little squeeze too. And this should feel super good on your knees. Oh, that feels good. Good. Now come up, move it back a little bit so it's right on your calves and the top of your Achilles, and then sit on it again. Gives your ankles a stretch, gives everything a stretch. And then one more time, lift up. Now bring it right onto the ankles area and sit on it again. Squeezes your Achilles, really gives your ankles a nice stretch. Good, and then move the blanket out of the way and swivel your feet to one side so that you can come to a seated position. And I'm going to encourage you to put your legs straight. I'm going to sit this way. And if it feels like you can't sit up tall, just do this. See if you can sit up tall. Actually inner spiral your legs so that you can feel that. And then just your right leg, bend the knee and bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh and open the knee to the right side. Now I really want to keep my foot flexed so it's not sickling here. And my knee doesn't come all the way down, especially on this side. This leg's straight ahead, so I'm just going to shift so my belly is a little bit more centered on the left leg, and then maybe reach for the little toe side, keeping in mind you just want to be really gentle with your knees. If Paschimottanasana is better for you here, you can do that, which is just both legs stretched out. And then come on up. Wow, that is tight. Stretch that leg straight. See if it's still inner spiraled. Bend the left knee, left sole to the inner leg. Now see this side, my knee comes all the way down. I center my belly. I reach for the little toe side. Janu Shirshasana. Just take a few breaths. And come on up. Switch legs again. Stretch the left leg out. You can shake them out if you want. Bend the right knee. This time bring the ankle across. Sit up nice and tall. If you want half lotus, you can move it closer or even in the hip crease. With this one, I'm not going to. I keep my left leg super engaged. I feel it mostly here in my hip, but you want to keep the knee protected by really flexing the foot. And then if you want more stretch, you can fold forward again. And then come on up. Now, last one, just bring the knee and stack knee on top of knee. And as you notice, my knee stays pretty high. I keep this foot flexed and super active, so I keep my knee protected. I lengthen up, I keep the heel pressing down, and then maybe I fold forward here in half Gomukhasana. Then please come on back up. Bring the knee up, foot grounded, interlace for a little twist. I'll pull back and up so you can get nice and long. And then grab the knee with your left elbow, right hand behind you and twist. I'm not mirroring you, so just follow my voice. And please unwind, and we'll just do that with the other side now. Really grounded. Left ankle across right thigh. Wherever it feels good, I'm going to move mine closer because my hips are feeling open. If you want, just stay here and think, oh, I'm opening the hip. Want more stretch on the hamstrings, you can fold forward. Don't go so deep that it feels like a lot of effort. And it feels safe. More breaths. And come on back up. Now move it over, stack knee on knee, really protect flexing the foot. If that works better for you. Some people it doesn't bother at all. I just really have really tight hips. So I have to really be mindful and I don't want to hurt my knee. And then maybe fold into half Gomukhasana. And then coming on up for the twist, bring the foot flat, interlace, lengthen, grab, and twist. Every inhale, I always think, am I really lengthening? Am I staying grounded? And on the exhale, maybe I focus on the twist more. Should feel really good. And then unwind. Shake out your legs. Now you're going to come to a wide angle with your legs. And just see how that feels. Maybe you'll have to inner spiral a bit. I like to press my heels down, keep a little baby bend. I just see how it feels. And then possibly if it's feeling good, notice how active my feet are. I'm really utilizing them. And maybe you can fold forward a little bit. Rib cage stays back. Really good stretch on the inner thigh. And keeping, you might have to back out a little bit, keeping the left leg grounded. Walk towards your right leg. Reach for the outer shin, outer ankle, outer little toe, side of the foot. And just come into a deeper, feels a lot like Janu Shirshasana, but you have your legs extended. I utilize my core a lot. And then come on up, walk to the other side. Where Artemis is right in the way. She's really needing my attention. She was mad at me for being gone. I think, oh, feel that stretch in your right leg grounded, right side body. Lengthen your core. And come on up. Bring the feet together. Squeeze them together. And then reach your arms forward and just slowly just pretend like you were standing on your feet. How we rolled up to Tadasana. Now I want you to roll down to Shavasana. See how slow you can go. Stretch your arms over your head, stretch your legs long, both directions. And then bring your arms down by your side, palms up, bring your feet a bit wider. See if you're comfortable where you have your shoulder blades. If you need to adjust, you can. Let your feet just fall open. And relax your physical body. Relax your jaw. Relax your chest. Relax your legs and feet. Feel your pelvis grounded. Enjoy the breath moving in and out of your heart area. Just notice that. As you continue to just relax in Shavasana, I wanted to share some thoughts from Marianne Williamson's book of Miracles, Year of Miracles. My heart beats, my lungs breathe, my ears hear, my hair grows, and I don't have to make them work. They just do. Planets revolve around the sun, seeds become flowers, embryos become babies, and with no help from me. Their movement is built into a natural system. I am an integral part of that system too. I can let my life be directed by the same force that makes flowers grow, or I can try to do it myself. To trust in the force that moves the universe is faith. Faith isn't blind, it's visionary. Faith is believing that the universe is on my side and that the universe knows what it's doing. Faith is a psychological awareness of an unfolding force for good, constantly at work in all dimensions. My attempts to direct this force only interferes with it. My willingness to relax into it allows it to work on my behalf. Without faith, I'm frantically trying to control what it is not my business to control, and fix what it is not in my power to fix. What I'm trying to control is much better off without me, and what I'm trying to fix can't be fixed by me anyway. Without faith, I'm just wasting time. Please notice that you are breathing. Just appreciate the fact that that happens. You can start to move in small ways. Eventually drawing your knees in, rolling to the right. Pushing on up to seated when you're ready. Take your time. Please bring hands to heart center. Thank you so much for having faith in my teaching abilities and being with me today. I bow to that beautiful light that emanates from each of you. Namaste. Have a fabulous day.